There was a very good atmosphere, and it was reflected in the statements made by Presidents Putin and Trump after the negotiations. It was a useful conversation. It was absolutely clear that the head of the United States and his team, first of all, genuinely wanted to achieve a result that would be long-term, stable, and reliable, unlike the Europeans, who at that time kept insisting everywhere that only a ceasefire was needed, and after that they would continue supplying weapons to Ukraine. But the fact that all these circumstances have been swept under the rug by various figures like Ursula von der Leyen, Macron, Starmer, Merz, and before him Scholz, is already well known. And also, that is Biden, of course, and his administration were among the leaders in ignoring and distorting all the facts that in general form the basis of the root causes of the Ukrainian crisis. There was a very good atmosphere, and it was reflected in the statements made by Presidents Putin and Trump after the negotiations. It was a useful conversation. It was absolutely clear that the head of the United States and his team, first of all, genuinely wanted to achieve a result that would be long-term, stable, and reliable, unlike the Europeans, who at that time kept insisting everywhere that only a ceasefire was needed, and after that they would continue supplying weapons to Ukraine. President Trump and his team, especially after the meeting in Alaska, began to approach the resolution of this crisis much more deeply, understanding that it was necessary to eliminate the root causes, which is what President Putin had been constantly talking about. And one of these root causes is precisely the issue of Russia's security, related to the fact that for decades, the commitments made to us not to allow NATO's eastward expansion were grossly and consistently violated. The President has noted several times that after these promises, there were 5 waves of NATO expansion. And he said in Washington, "Oh yes, I would be ready to negotiate, but I won't even discuss any territories because the Constitution forbids me to." This is an interesting point because, oddly enough, even now in the Ukrainian constitution, despite the laws that have been passed banning the Russian language in all areas of life and activity, the Constitution of Ukraine still contains the state's obligation to fully guarantee the rights of Russians. This is specifically highlighted, as well as other national minorities. If he is so concerned about his Constitution, then I would start with its very first articles, where this very obligation is enshrined. But the fact that all these circumstances have been swept under the rug by various figures like Ursula von der Leyen, Macron, Starmer, Merz, and before him Scholz, is already well known. And also, that is Biden, of course, and his administration were among the leaders in ignoring and distorting all the facts that in general form the basis of the root causes of the Ukrainian crisis.
President of Ukraine, who is, you just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a 3-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be made by President Zelensky and by the people of Ukraine working also together in agreement with President Putin. And I just think that's very good things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting. And if we can have a good meeting, I'll set up a meeting with President Putin. And if you'd like, I'll go to that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do that because we want to save a lot of people from dying. A lot of people are dying, and we got to save them. We got to save it. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people sometimes a week. All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. You know, in the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire. And so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war, but it would be, I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable. and it can be done in the near future. With all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult and very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about, and we're really honored you guys came over. I mean, these are the heads of major countries and respected all over Europe. And they speak for, largely, I think I should say, but pretty much for the other countries of Europe. And we will come to a resolution today, I think, on almost everything, including probably the security. And that's pretty much the story. I'd like to say, Mr. President, would you like to say something? You have the media. If you want, you could come over and you could stand, you could use mine, or you could just turn around, whichever you feel comfortable with.
Thank you so much. I can speak without microphone. Thank you so much. I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the best one. Or sorry, maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And we spoke about very sensitive points. The first one is security guarantees. And we are very happy with President that all the leaders are here, and the security in Ukraine depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us in our hearts. They have been online before yesterday, and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people, and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia and stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives such strong signal and is ready for security guarantees. The second point, or maybe the first, the humanitarian direction, very important to exchange all the prisoners, and I think that President will help. And I was very thankful to your wife again, Mr. President, for the letter about our abducted children, and I hope that really it can be a historic role for the people to bring kids back to the families and be happy at the families.
Back, yeah.
Yes, this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it, this track with the President Trump, and I hope that we will find decisions. And then what is very important, that all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you will
both
participate.
Want me there, I will be there. Yeah,
yeah,
you know
thank you. And I think this is very important. Yes, so security guarantees, bringing kids back, and all our people, not only warriors, first of all warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back. And guarantees which will work for the years. We spoke about it, and I showed the President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and I'm very thankful to all the leaders who are here, and you help a lot, and so we are happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much,
for hosting us.
Mr. President. I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up, when we do, I think it's going to be when, not if. I think you're going to see some very really positive moves. I know there's over 1,000 prisoners, and I know they're going to release them. Maybe they're going to release them very soon, like immediately, which I think is great. But we're going to set that up today after this meeting. So very good and great remarks. I appreciate it.